guys, welcome back. So today we're out in the first blizzard of the season. As you can tell, it's snowing behind me and it's just getting started. It's going to pick up and snow all afternoon. And if you follow the channel, you'll know every year when the first snow flies, I like to think about things like comblock weapons, AKs and such. What I have in my hands here is a Krebbs custom AC-15. It's one of their latest creations. This one has a speed load feature. We push a button, it'll kick the magazine out under spring pressure. Has a red dot sight mount up here. I have a Zeiss Z-Point red dot sight on it. Has a new Krebbs muzzle device, the Zukov Magpul furniture. Just a beautiful rifle. I'm going to start off shooting this rifle, but we're going to move backwards in time a little bit and talk about some of the different 7.62 by 39 rifles that are available or have been available on the U.S. market. So we're going to take a look at an eclectic mix of comblock weapons this afternoon. So let's start off by shooting this Krebbs custom AC-15. Very cool. Love AKs, but I got some other stuff. Let's see what I brought out. All right, so next up is a Russian SKS. This is a Tula rifle, and certainly there's nothing exceptional about this gun other than it's mine. I love it, and again, it's a Russian-made SKS. These guns are very common in the United States, especially the Chinese and Yugoslavian/Serbian counterparts. The rifles feed from 10-round stripper clips. This, folks, is a clip. All right, it's not a magazine. This is a clip. Stick it in the top of the rifle. Push down, and it charges the rifle. I keep those stripper clips because they're not so common anymore, a little harder to find. Load it up, it's ready to go. You got 10 rounds of 7.62 by 39 on tap. This rifle has a folding spike bayonet, all sorts of cool stuff, and she's just an absolute beautiful Arsenal rebuild Russian SK again. Let's see how it shoots. Locks open, last round fired. Now, these are just a dream to shoot. Guys, if you're out there looking for a good 7.62 by 39 and you don't want to spend more than 500 bucks, I mean, you can still pick these things up for $300, $400, and they're just a great value. Good shooters. I wouldn't say they're match quality rifles. You can expect 3-inch groups out of them or so at 100 yards, but that's not horrible. They're reliable, robust, well built, and a heck of a lot of fun, and you can collect them because they're still, again, somewhat affordable. Some of the Chinese versions, though, are getting a little bit more expensive simply because the Chinese imports were shut off decades ago, and you know, they're just kind of hard to find every once in a while. But you will see companies like AIM Surplus bring in some of the Chinese SKSs occasionally. They're well-used condition. You can't buy them brand new anymore. But again, it's a great opportunity to pick up a classic military rifle in a caliber that's really, really affordable. Let's try something else. Let me show you a Chinese rifle that is a little bit unique. The next rifle I brought out this afternoon is a Chinese-made SKS. Now, commercial stocks on them, which, you know, may or may not be true, had commercial barrels in them. They weren't military quality barrels. I've read all sorts of information about them on the internet. Again, I can't verify any of it other than I know that this is an original SKS-D, which is, again, is not a formal designation. And it's really just an SKS that the Chinese modified internally with some stamped sheet metal parts to accept AK magazines. The gun wasn't really built to use them. And because of that, they can be a little bit spotty in terms of reliability. The magazines wobble in them. The stocks are rather crude. I picked this up from a local guy. It's a beautiful example of an SKSD. And we're going to shoot it now with the 30-round magazine. What makes this rifle unique as well is the fact that it has a stripper clip guide here on the top, but it can't use stripper clips because it does not lock open on the last round fired like a standard 10-round SKS does. Let's see how it shoots and see if it functions without malfunctioning. Ha! There you go. That's what the SKSD is known for. Let's try it again. And another malfunction. These things just really aren't that reliable. not lock open on the last round, so out of 30 rounds, we had, what, 2 or 3 malfunctions? It's about par for the course for these old girls. Still a neat rifle. It's a collectible rifle, which is why I have it. I wouldn't trust my life to it, but it's a fun gun to shoot and certainly unique. Let's see what else I brought out this afternoon. Another one of my favorite rifles is the Czech VZ58. This is a US-made copy, and this is a VZ2000. This rifle was made by Ohio Ordnance Works, and these guns came out right around 2000. What was kind of interesting is these guns hadn't appeared on the US market until they started building the clones. What they had was a bunch of parts kits they brought in, and they just needed receivers. So Ohio Ordnance Works started manufacturing the receivers, put the guns together, and sold them as the VZ2000. And it was the first time that the US gun buyers had access to this really cool communist / Czechoslovakian rifle, military service rifle. Now, of course, you can get the rifles that are imported, and they're newly made, and they're not, you know, 100% US made like this rifle is, sans the parts kit. So it's really kind of cool to see that these rifles have made it to the US market, and they've actually become somewhat popular. A lot of folks like these rifles, myself included. It's a very small rifle. It's very handy. This one has all the modern amenities on it. Has some B&T furniture up here, which gives it 1913 rails. Have a Magpul AFG on it. I have the side folding stock that I've put a little bit of paracord on to give it a little bit more comfort. But it's just a neat gun, fun gun, and again, a lot of folks really enjoy them. Again, it's 7.62 by 39. Still a little bit of shooting with it here in some of this snow. Wow. Oh, you know what? Bolt's not going closed. Not nearly as tough as the AK. That open top design gets to it. Something to think about. Last round lock open, it does take stripper clips, so it has a stripper clip guide here. You can recharge the magazine, or you can just change it out, and it has its own proprietary magazine. Even though it looks like an AK, and a lot of people mistakenly call it an AK, has no parts commonality with the AK whatsoever. This is what the Czechs wanted to use instead of the AK-47 in their service, as their service weapon. So very cool gun, and very robust, typically reliable, and just generally a lot of fun to shoot, and you can still buy them brand new today. Let's see what else I got. So the next rifle I brought out this afternoon is a rifle that wasn't really designed to operate in conditions like this, snowy Arctic type conditions. It was designed to operate in the sands of Egypt. This is a 1960s era Rashid Carbine. It's in 7.62 by 39, and it's a direct descendant of the Youngman and the Hakim. The Hakim was 8mm, looked very much like this rifle, functioned very similarly, and it's a direct gas impingement rifle. It does have an adjustable gas system up here on the end. It requires a special tool. But the rifle, again, is almost a direct copy of the Hakim, just shortened to accept the 7.62 by 39 cartridge. Has a 10-round detachable box magazine, but the magazine is intended to be left in the rifle, and it's meant to be fed with stripper clips. Has a guide here. Now these are SKS stripper clips. They're a little bit big, so it takes a little bit of finessing to get them into the guide here. But it can be done. I have successfully done it. Push it down in, kind of wiggle it around. I can charge 10 rounds into its magazine. All right. And then I'll put this 10th round in since it kind of popped off the stripper clip. All right. To charge the weapon, it has a charging handle, unlike the Hakim's sliding top cover or the Youngman's. Pull the charging handle to the rear, let it go, and it chambers. This is the safety here on the rear of the gun. That's safe. That's fire. And let's do a little bit of shooting with it here really quick. Locks open on the last shot fired. And again, is really kind of unique. To take the magazine out, you pull the little latch back, pinch it and pull, and you can pull it out. Now the guns were only issued with one magazine, so again it was designed really, or intended to be used with stripper clips. Very unique piece of history. Folding spike bayonet, even though it looks like an SKS bayonet, it is not, so you can't interchange them, but it looks very much like a good old Russian blade bayonet. Very fun, interesting piece of history for sure. I got one more to show you. You've seen it before, but I want to shoot it again. Out of all the rifles I've had out here this afternoon, this is my favorite. This is the Czech BZ 5257. In 1952, the Czechs adopted this rifle as a 7.62 by 45 millimeter gun. The by 45 was slightly longer, slightly more powerful than the by 39, but by 1957, the Russians wanted all their satellite states to adopt a common caliber. Makes perfect sense. NATO did the same thing with the 5.56 and the 7.62 by 51, 9 millimeter. So, of course, the Czechs had to modify the rifle to accept the shorter 7.62 by 39, which is this rifle. It's a very unique rifle, and again, it's one of my favorites. My favorite of the rifles I have out here this afternoon has a unique type of shotgun gas system on it. If you want to know more about this rifle, I go into great detail in a dedicated video I did just this last year, so go ahead and look that video up if you want to learn more about this particular gun. Very neat rifle, side folding bayonet. You push a little button here on this side, it pops out, swings out, push it again, swings back. Just a great overall rifle, very sweet shooting gun. This rifle was probably brought home in a duffel bag. It has no import markings on it whatsoever, and it's a really nice example. What's even cool about this rifle, or even more cool about it, is the fact that much like the M14 or the M1 Garand in the United States, which are used as ceremonial rifles, you'll see the Marines using M14s as drill rifles and stuff like that. The Czechs use this rifle as their ceremonial rifle. Their rifles that they use for ceremonies are brightly silver colored. They're either chrome plated or something like that. They're very bright and flashy and really cool looking guns. So anyway, enough talking about it. Let's do a little bit of shooting and see how this old warhorse does in these types of conditions. So it locks open, last round fired. The magazine does drop right out of it. You can take it out and put it right back in. It doesn't lock in like the Rashid or the Hakim or something like that. It does lock open again, last shot fired. It has a stripper clip guide here. It's kind of offset at an angle, and the Chinese stripper clips I have don't work with the gun. The recoil impulse is a little bit sharper than an SKS, but it's just a smoother shooting gun, definitely has a nicer trigger. The barrel's threaded, probably for a blank firing attachment or something like that, but such a really, really cool old piece of history. So most of the guns we've brought out this afternoon were designed to operate in extremely harsh conditions. Now this isn't necessarily a Siberian winter we're in the middle of right now, but maybe it'll get there by this afternoon. But we've got a little bit of snow on the ground, and we've buried the guns in the snow and stomped the snow into the guns, and we're just going to see how they work. Let's try the VZ58 first. It's down here. Got a little bit of yellow snow on it. Let's hope that's not what I think it is. And do a little bit of shooting with this bad boy. My sights are gooked up. Yeah, she works just fine. What else we got buried around here? Ah, there we go. We got a Krebbs custom AK. A little bit of snow in the magazine. I'm really bad about locking magazines in with my left hand on AKs. For good measure. A little bit more durable than the VZ58 in conditions like this. This rifle is extremely tough, and I love it for that reason. Now, here's what I was talking about with that Krebbs. When I want to go to do a reload, all I got to do is hit this button and watch what happens. Even at an upward angle, if I'm going for a magazine, push the button and it kicks that magazine out. Put another magazine in, run the bolt, and you're back off to the races. So, as you can see, these rifles are definitely meant for really, really nasty conditions. Most military rifles are. You'll find very few military rifles in history that really can't function well in adverse conditions like this. But we just like to bring these things out every once in a while and put them through their paces and just kind of remind ourselves just how far we've come in terms of military technology. Modern rifles like this, AC-15, are absolutely beautiful rifles to behold, but they're also very functional and still very capable of defending one's home or nation. If you guys have any questions about anything you've seen in this video this afternoon, you can ask those questions on our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/militaryarms. Also, please come by and check out Copper Custom. If you want to support the Military Arms channel or pick up a Military Arms channel patch, you can do that at coppercustom.com. It's our online store. And if you haven't already, please check out full30.com. That's full30.com. We've taken all the web's best content creators in the gun space and brought them under one roof, and that is full30.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon.